watu wote
wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote
wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu.
Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie.
Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele.
Mwaka wa 60 umefika,
tangu Kenya iwe huru.
mwaka wa 60 umefika,
tangu Kenya iwe huru.
haya sisi sote wananchi
Kenya nchi tunayoipenda, tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu. Yes, that is our intro here. As of course you hear that song, you know we are here for the political discussion here in Africa 24. And of course, today is date 21st November year 2024. 1 month to the end of 2024. What have you achieved this year? What have you achieved this year? And of course, whatever you planned this year, don't worry, we have 2025 and we pray that God will give us that energy and we'll cross 2025 with good health, energy, and also with this protection. Freak 24, you are following us for the first time. I know we are having some of the followers following us through Facebook. So if you are following us through Facebook and you have not subscribed to Freak 24, you can use the link that I've joined there and you will subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is all what we can ask from your hand. Subscribe to Freak 24 and we will be happy and we will always keep you entertained, informed, and also educated. Where are you following us from? Nairobi, Kenya is 7 minutes past 10 p.m. I know I have a lot of followers in the United Kingdom. I have a lot of followers in the United States of America. I welcome you for the today's show. Gibbs Icona, our number one follower. I can see you through our YouTube and you are always making this show very active. Where are you following this conversation from? And the main topic that we're having today is Gen Z win. Gen Z win and the protest win, because now you saw today the president dropped the Adani deal, which a lot of Kenyans were really rejecting the Adani deal. It's like the Gen Z are still winning when it comes to the William Ruto government. You can join us through the link that I've shared there. You can join us live in the studio, and I'll give you this chance so that you can also share your views, share your ideas. How do you think the State of Nation address by William Ruto was it fair, or Kenyans won, or still we have a long way to go? Join us through the studio and I'll give you this chance. Remember, this is Africa 24. You can join us live and I will give you that chance. And of course, the William Ruto, who is the president of the Republic of Kenya today, he gave the State of Nation, the address that happened today. And Kenyans were really waiting to hear what will come from the mouth of William Ruto, who is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He spoke a lot of things about health, about the Adani deal, about agriculture, every sector. Of course, it was addressed in today's State of Nation address. Do you think you agree with the State of Nation? If you agree with what William Ruto said, then you can join us and tell us how you agree with it. If you don't agree, then you can also join the studio and tell us why do you have those ideas. Amanda Addison, is it you think that is it from pressure or it's from saving the country from becoming Adani instead of the name Kenya? That is Amanda Addison. Amanda Addison, you can join the studio through the link that I've shared there. Make sure you are here in the studio and you will speak to a lot of Kenyans who are following this show live. Where are you following this conversation from? Join us and we shall be giving you these ideas as we move on. So today, the Gen Z were in the street, but though in silent moves, they never came out. They were just in the street of Nairobi waiting to hear what the president is going to say. But the president, during his speech today, he said that he really feels that Kenya needs to be transformed. Well, he was mentioning some of the sectors, sector of education, agriculture, and also health sector, the shift of NHF to SHA, where Kenyans are still questioning how is this SHA going to be implemented in this country. Yet Kenyans are still complaining. He explained to that. He also explained to what has been happening, femicide issues that are happening, killing of women, and of course, he really mentioned that which has really raised a lot of eyebrows, because for the last few weeks, few months, we are having a lot of women losing their lives because of these femicide issues. And also the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Education, also he defended himself, saying that he inherited a government that was in a total mess. That is what he said. I inherited this government while it was in a total mess. That is the president. He inherited the government that was in total mess. Do you agree this inheritance was in a total mess? He also spoke about a lot of things, but before we move on, I want us to listen to the intro of what the president said today.
I am harnessing our working relationship with other arms of government to encourage the judiciary and parliament to enhance integrity and efficiency by adopting digitization and automation. As I do so, I must caution that all these measures will only achieve intended results if, and only if, the institutions charged with combating corruption and promoting efficiency and integrity stop hiding behind the transparent screen of independence and rise up to meet the people's expectation on matters integrity. Let me say this. It cannot be the case that the Director of Public Prosecutions keeps dropping cases because somehow they are unable to produce witnesses. It cannot also be the case that corruption suspects rush to court to obtain anticipatory bail that shields them from due process and enables them to compromise investigations. There is also no reason for corruption cases to drag in our courts for years when the same courts are able to determine election petitions and related disputes within 6 months. Members, it is also unacceptable for the Houses of Parliament to deny the nation a much-needed instrument in the war against corruption by continuing to sabotage the passage of the Conflict of Interest Bill. I implore you, honorable members, to stop dragging your feet on this bill, unless, my friends, there is a conflict of interest in the passing of the conflict of interest legislation.
Hey, that is William Ruto, and of course he was really fuming after the members of parliament rejected the finance bill. And the finance bill, they said the finance bill is one of the things that will transform this country. They said that this finance bill will make Kenya to move to the next level. You know, what William Ruto said that is going to transform this country, is going to make this country move ahead in terms of developments, is going to make this country move from analog to digital. Now, from the finance bill, from the members of parliament rejecting the finance bill up to where they said no to the finance bill until the president dropped the finance bill. Now, today he also dropped the Adani deal. Adani deal, after what we witnessed, the Adani personnel was arrested in the United States because of corruption cases. But again, William Ruto dropped the finance bill. He dropped the Adani deal. Every time he also dropped the cabinet. Does it mean that the Gen Z are winning the protest, and also, or the president is listening to the voice of Kenyans? Does it mean that the president is listening to the voice of Kenyans? Because, as you know, Kenyans have been speaking for a while, since things started getting worse in this country. High cost of living, Kenya started complaining. And now, anything they say, once William Ruto asks the press, then he has to drop it. Does it mean that the voice of Kenyans is being heard by William Ruto and his government?
Progress we have made in realizing our national values and principles of governance, and to submit to you, honorable members, the progress made in fulfilling our international obligations. Since my last address, Kenya has undergone rapid change, occasioned by the collective awakening of the people in the understanding that the state of nation depends on the work we do individually and collectively. This realization extends not only to what we choose to undertake, but also to how we go about securing careers, livelihoods, and contributing to the grand enterprise of nation building. There has never been doubt, and now there is none whatsoever, that Kenya is a land of bold ambition, with our citizens always desiring and insisting on the best possible standards, not only for themselves, but also for their families and for our nation. Consequently, our democracy has empowered citizens to ask questions and demand changes in the way their affairs are managed, driving the wheels of our nation's social, political, and economic transformation faster in the direction of excellence and prosperity. Rare are the times when leadership is ahead of the people. We are always striving to steer the machinery of state and government to keep pace with the aspirations of our citizens. We have learned through the hard as well as the more customary ways that listening is a full-time occupation of leadership, and that all questions asked by the people must be answered thoroughly and in full. We have learned never to take anything for granted and make every effort to call all our people, to carry all our people along with us in the pursuit of our transformation. The context in which I make this national address is not only significantly different from previous occasions, but it is also a singular moment with unique historical implications for us all. It is an opportunity to affirm the principles and values of which our nation stands, review the steps we have taken, the path we have chosen in our journey of national development, and reinforce the commitments we have made to one another and to our beloved nation for the sake of the present and future generations. I do not take this for granted, and with utmost respect and humility before this august assembly of the people's elected representatives, I desire to respond to the most pressing concerns that have been raised by Kenyans of all walks of life in recent months. To my understanding, the concerns and issues voiced by millions of Kenyans about the state of our nation deserve meaningful engagement, thorough understanding, and thoughtful response. There are discussions about whether leaders understand the pain, hardship, and struggles endured by countless citizens every day as they strive to make ends meet, and whether the government is doing anything about it. Similarly, many struggling Kenyans impatiently wonder, when will real money get to their pockets, and when will the jobs promised, which they deserve, become a reality? Additionally, there has been conversations about our education system, particularly the transition to the competence-based curriculum, and whether policies in this sector are working for or against Kenyans. Important questions have also been raised concerning the direction of development in relation to democracy, human rights, and fundamental freedoms, as well as the rule of law, transparency, and accountability. Another more direct question that emerges every now and then is whether public policy in this administration is in furtherance of service delivery to citizens or just in aid of political strategy. It is undeniable that for many Kenyans, times are hard and the struggle to meet their daily basic needs remains daunting. It is also true that these conditions have persisted for a number of years now, leading to much frustration and anxiety. Although we have gone a long way to mitigate some of these difficulties, much remains.
That is President William Ruto, and he was addressing the nation today. And that is a clip whereby he is saying he is listening to what Kenyans are saying. He listens to the people, and he wants to make sure democracy is being followed in this country. He's also addressing issue of corruption, whereby he is also saying judiciary should also be firm with their decision. We should not have this kind of cases being held in the court, yet we have evidence to always deal with this corruption and also do away with anyone who is being corrupt. Also, it seems that every department should act immediately when they have chaos. And whatever you're saying, see, the fundamental key of what you want to make in this country is ensure that democracy is being followed in this country. Democracy in this way, because he is saying that he listened to the Kenyans, because dropping the Adani deal is a long thing that really involved a lot of people, that Kenyans wanted this Adani deal to be taken off. And today he dropped the Adani deal. He's saying that engaging the public and also ensuring the citizens of the country have this public participation is very key. And also corruption cases, he's talking about any malpractice during the general elections should not even go for 2 years. 6 months are enough, and the court determine what is the malpractice about. William Ruto is also addressing issues of debt in this country, where he said that he has no room for anyone who is a thief, someone who is stealing properties, squandering properties of the Kenyans. Any Kenyan who has information about theft, fraudsters, then he should report directly. The question is, where are they being reported? In the comment section, I can see Gibbs Ekone say that, did Ruto talk about human rights? I like his dry sense of humor. And also he's saying that since when Ruto listened to the Kenyans, it's because USA has got involved by catching the fraudster Adani Group Limited. Of course, you saw in the news today in the morning whereby the Adani was arrested in the United States because of issues concerning corruption. And you know, USA is one of the states that really don't condone those kind of things. And maybe we don't know how is this the coincidence, dropping of the Adani, and the Adani was arrested in the United States. Ruto is the head of corruption. What is he talking about? That is in the comment section. He is asking me, what is Ruto talking about? And also in the comment section say that Ruto should cancel SHF and SHA, not to call it Taifa. Of course, he was calling it Taifa today. And also he's saying that, did Ruto talk about human rights? I like his dry sense of humor. And of course, that is in the comment section. So if you're following us here, you can join the studio through the link that I've shared there. And you can also talk about the state of nation that was given today by the president in the country of Kenya. Many Kenyans were following the state of nation, and the state of nation really, it's like it favors the Gen Z. I'm also joined by our very own in this show, Ekal Simba. And yesterday we were with him and we had a very wonderful show. And of course, Ekal Simba, welcome. And also you give us your opinion, just a general opinion on the State of Nation address. Did the Gen Z won in this State of Nation address, or still Kenyans are being pressed? Because dropping of the Adani deal was issue that was raised by most of Kenyans, but now the Adani deal was dropped. Or does it mean that the president is listening to the voice of Kenyans in a hidden way?
Thank you very much. Now, general opinion, what was happening today? First of all, Bonnie, I want to thank you for welcoming me. For those who don't know me, my name is Akal Simba. General opinion, the state of address, what the president was trying to communicate to the Gen Zs is just trying to give the Gen Zs an offer they can't refuse. He's trying to massage their ego. There was nothing the president was trying to do there that is going to shape the economic stability of the nation. Number two, the Adani deal is another long con wash scandal. And I talked about it 3 months ago on my Twitter handle, and I also affirmed it in October in my Twitter handle on 16th of October. That was just a long con wash scandal. It was meant to happen. There was no airport that was being sold. If you can refer to what Ruto and his colleagues did in the YK92, that was the 1992 Golden Bag scandal. It's the same thing that they've done to Gautam Adani. So we'll speak about it more on the same. Of course, there were what we call the pressure from the West, the multinational entities that were pressuring the president on the same. Because remember, he was dealing with a guy who was also a crook. But on the same side, he was also playing this guy. So it is just a wash scandal that this guy did not manage to realize as early as the time was signing those documents. His money has been siphoned. Almost $500 billion has been siphoned, but he's not going to get anything in return. Those are the general perspective of what he was talking about. Otherwise, the president didn't address anything important that he wanted him to address. Sante.
Kale Simba said that the president was massaging the Gen Z. President was doing some cool massage for the Gen Z so that they can accept what he's doing. But anyway, he's also saying that the Adani deal was something that was already known, that it is a very big scam in this country. But anyway, this was a Adani deal that was introduced by William Ruto, is the president of the Republic of Kenya. But now we saw some of the leaders. I saw one of the members from Azimio supporting the Adani deal. And one day when he was speaking, then I was listening to him and I was really shocked, because these are the kind of leaders in which we really thought they are going to transform. They are going to make sure that the voice of the Kenyans are going to be represented in this government. But so at the end of the day, the Adani was dropped by the president. And Ekale Simba is saying this is a massage of the president. He's trying to massage the Gen Z so that they can accept the way that the president is trying to squeeze them. But anyway, this was the State of Nation that happened, and we had members of parliament heckling there, others screaming there. After he dropped the Adani deal, they all stood up and started clapping. He also defended the finance bill. He said that members should not start always rejecting some of the bills that are presented in the parliament. He also slammed them and said that you should wake up, because it is not the high time we should all reject anything that has been proposed for the parliament. And this is the question that I want to pose to Ekal Simba. Ekal Simba, you know, President Ruto has been saying that his work is to listen to the people of Kenya. Today, I've been listening to what is happening in the social media and also in the streets. They're saying that we have won. We have won. We have won. The Gen Z are saying that we have started winning now. President is now following our way. Do you agree with those words?
Thank you very much. Number one, the Machiavelli school of politics that Ruto is 100%, not even 99.99% implementing, is implementing it 100%. The Machiavelli school of politics does not allow the president to abide by what the people are trying to tell him. As a matter of fact, this has been exhibited from the past, his past actions. You see, Kenyans truly forget so fast. And yesterday, Boni, while we were speaking about the Gen Zs, you see, the Gen Zs are, I think, the massive force currently. Let me use youth in general, so that I don't say the Gen Zs. The 18 to 35 are the massive force of the country's economic table currently. And these people tend to forget so fast. They want things so cheaply and unopposed without struggling for them. And when they get a chance of somebody so possible and so fast, like what the president was trying to do today, you see, they are forgetting that in 1992, while this guy joined the YK92 under the Moi regime, he was almost kicked out of the, not almost kicked out, he was in the last hours rush, he was kicked out of the YK92 because of some shady deals. Remember, he was just an organizing secretary by then. The guy became a member of parliament from his own area, did not even do anything constructive for all the tenure he was as a member of parliament. The guy went and became a member, an official under the Higher Education Board. He did nothing. Under the Agricultural Board, he also did nothing. In fact, at one point, he was suspended by the president. We can all remember that. The prime minister by then, Raila Odinga, also suspended him. So this is a guy who has been on a track record of looting spree. Is not going to change. Is not anybody whom we expect to change any moment. And I told you that the Machiavelli school of politics, everything that Ruto tries to do, there is always some, in quotes, any positive thing we feel Ruto is doing, there is always a corresponding negative thing behind it. So even at the moment, as far as people are rejoicing that that Gautam Adani has been indicted in the USA and his JKIA and KETRACO deals have been cancelled, there is something behind the curtain. Because until I see all this documentation stamped, the real documentation stamped, and the last part of it, Adani arrested or Adani deported from Kenya, because as we are speaking right now, Adani jetted in the country, and I have the jet number and the documentations of the jet that Adani used to jet in the country. The FBI currently have sent a team of SWAT operatives to come to Kenya, and they've ordered that jet not to leave the country any moment. So what is happening right now is that Ruto is trying to do some cleansing by making it live press conference. Is trying to do some cleansing. One thing people don't know, let me tell you what was supposed to happen in the press conference today. In the press conference today, Ruto has thrown ODM, Raila and his brigades under the bus. But that is not what was supposed to happen. In fact, people like Wetangula, who are really pushing for this deal, people like Imani Ichung'wah, the majority leader, nobody knew why the president cancelled those deals. It is something that was discussed during the last hour's rush. That is why, if you can remember, that press conference delayed a little bit. The main motive of today's press conference was to take home all the PS. All the PS were to be taken home today. He was to announce all those PS positions vacant. I told you yesterday that a notice had already been made in State House to leave, for the PS to leave all those principal secretaries, all of them to go home, and the new principal secretaries were to take over, where Raila had already submitted more than 10 names of the principal secretaries he wanted to be incorporated in the government. That was the state of the nation today on matters the president did. So when the president learned, because remember, this guy received intelligence from all over the country, including outside. In America, these people have intelligence operatives everywhere. when he realized that the FBI have already started conducting a process of investigation for what is going on with Adani, and he knew that the president, he knew that he's going to get involved. Immediately they learned that Adani has been indicted in the USA. He knew he's going to get involved because remember, Ruto is not on the positive books with the incoming president of America, Donald Trump. So the 265 million fraud case that was announced today in the United States, it was not even today, that was last week. The 265 million fraud case that Adani was bribing some senators in America so that he can be given some electricity deal in the United States. When Ruto learned that this kind of investigations have started, because it is in Kenya where Adani used most of his influence to hide most of this money that was being laundered through the wash game. Ruto had to make a move because this is a guy who was recently vindicated from the ICC. Going back there, he knows very well that he's not going to come back. And right now, the international operatives have also started investigating him on the recent activities that happened during the Gen Z protest, where a lot of young people were being killed. It is not going to go scot-free. Remember, the international media were here. They didn't just record those things to go scot-free. Some people will have to be thrown under the bus. And the first mistake that Ruto did was to throw Raila and his comrades under the bus. 8 hours before William Ruto made that press conference, Opiyo Wandayi had made a similar press sanitizing Adani. Few weeks ago, we can all remember Raila Odinga also sanitizing Adani. 8 hours before the president made the press, Wandayi was saying that the fraud cases that involved Adani in the USA, why do Kenyans think that those are the same fraud cases that are going to involve Adani in Kenya? So that is one way. It's either the deal was honest, it was an honest deal. Ruto signed a deal to lease off our airport on behalf of us for 30 years for his own personal gain. Or option 2, which we are going to discuss to weigh both options. Option 2 is this guy was playing a long con on Adani, which might be true because I'm trying to look at the possible ways in which a man who is being watched by international treaties gives off an airport to a private entity that has been announced by almost 5 developed countries as a corrupt individual. You see, Adani has been named. If you look at India itself, most of these higher media groups, we saw Gandhi. Gandhi was reporting that he was actually saying that Adani must be arrested. Adani in the evening today, because we get this intel, tried to seek refuge from the Indian embassy, but he was denied the same. That was just immediately after Kenya withdrew her security from Adani. So the guy is on his own. Ruto has left the guy on shadows because they know America is coming here, and any person who will try sanitizing this guy will go with him. He's going to be arrested. So I believe personally that Ruto was playing some wash game on this guy, because I've talked about this thing for the past 3 months. I've tried looking at all the possibilities, trying to do some political mathematics on the same, and everything everything charges towards these people were playing a scamming game on Adani. Because in your right senses, the process of leasing an airport or privatizing an airport, even through a consortium itself, it was not that fast. That was so fast. The possible documentation that ought to have been signed. In fact, speaking of which, they ought to have done public participation even before that thing went to Bunge, which they did not do. So it was so fast in a way that any normal person or anybody who understands the law knew that it's either Adani playing a game here or it is the president. Obviously, it had to be the president because he's the one who was receiving money. And if the game was to lease this airport, to privatize this airport, speaking about the total amount of money that was used to sanitize this deal, or rather to bribe this deal, was almost $500 billion, because Adani used a little bit more than $400 billion trying to sanitize, or rather to bribe the entities so that this deal can go through. We are still trying to do some more research on what is really happening behind this Adani deal, because remember, it is true. Remember, it is through the people. It is through the people who are in contact with Adani that also were brought on board for the SHA, the SHA, and the SHIF deal. It is because Adani Group of companies has got a lot of smaller companies. There is the health company, there is the power company, which of course was to take over the KETRACO, which was to go with the KETRACO deal. That is the power which Pure Wonder has been sanitizing. And of course, there is this one for JKIA leasing. Gautam Adani, being reported by the United States of America in the $400+ million fraud case to bribe those entities. That is what led to the president doing that press conference today. It was a last hour's rush. It was not intended. That press conference was not intended. You remember the president, immediately after mentioning Adani, he started bringing in some other cook stories, talking about Taifa. What is Taifa? I've never heard about something like that. Should talk about SHIF and SHA. So he started bringing up some stories that do not exist, trying to talk about some price of unga, which of course we all know. Any economic hitman knows that it is not Ruto who has led to the price of unga going back down. If you understand economics, this guy has monopolized even the unga industry itself. He has monopolized the cement industry through this guy called Narendra Raval, who is owning Devki Group of companies. He has monopolized almost all entities in this country. So when he tells you that unga has gone from 190 to 120, it is because he's the one who is in charge of this unga going back to 120, because all the package, what happens in Kenya right now is that companies only make the package, but the real unga, it is Ruto who owns it. The guy, first of all, what he made sure that he did, he sold fake fertilizer to people. Remember the issue of the former CS agriculture? That was a calculated activity, because Ruto has thousands of acres of maize farm in Congo. And what he's doing is making sure that he transports these maize to Kenya, and then they're packaged into these packets that are being created by these companies. So while you think that Jembe is still giving you the maize product that they used to give before, it is not the same. Any sane person knows about this. Look at the cement industry. Most cement industry that was so powerful are really falling because of this other Indian called Narendra Raval of Devki Group of companies. And Ruto is so intelligent. He normally like using Indians just the same way Moi used Indians. You can also remember during the land grabbing of the Langata primary next to Weston, he used an Indian. And then after the Indian, things went wrong. That is when Ruto now comes out. So everything that is happening with this Adani deal, there is also something cooking behind the tent. You can't just come out as a president and already you've made a press conference. What about the money that you are paid? What about the people who had already started working? Because we saw at some point Indians, they were ferrying Indians from India to Kenya to start working.
So the whole administrative column of JKIA will have to halt a little bit for the operations to go on after Adani is taken back to India. So I think still yet enough, even though this guy made a press conference, I think this press conference was just a shadow. It was just they were just they intentionally did it to try seal. I don't know, but any political analyst will know about this. A president, that thing, they ought to have done it first through a notice, presidential, a memo. They ought to have done a memo first before he comes out to confirm it through the presidential address. So it was not official at all. It was completely not official. It was not even constitutional. The deal, while it was starting, the president did not make a press conference to inform Kenyans that there is a deal. They are going to a consortium with Adani Group of companies to list JKIA. I didn't see such kind of a press release from the president. Why so sudden that when now the deal goes wrong, is now coming to make a press conference to cancel the deal? So there is some shenanigan game going on behind the curtain, which if you add 1 + 1, it is not equalizing to 2 based on that press conference that was made. But what I know is that so long as the Western multinational entities are in this thing, the rubber is soon meeting the road. And we are going to know what is really happening behind the curtain. William Ruto, chances of surviving till 2027 is very minimal. Bonnie, yesterday I was informing you that it is the probability of Raila losing AU right now, I'm saying that is 1. Yesterday it was 0.5, but from the press conference today that Ruto threw them under the bus, the probability of now Raila losing AU is 1, because he officially knows that if you are sitting on a meeting with Ruto today, and Ruto is telling you to go and sanitize Adani through a press conference, Raila went and sanitized Adani. But during the cancellation of this deal, he did not inform anybody. Ruto did not inform anybody, by the way. In fact, the face that Wetangula gave in Bunge while Ruto was giving that state address, he was also shocked. People were forcing. I saw Millie Mabona clapping hands. Everybody was shocked. They were just forcing issues there. Wetangula was wondering what is really going on here, which clearly indicates, including the president, the deputy president himself, Kindiki. Kindiki did not know about this. It is only the president. I don't know, with his inner house comrades, they came to a stand that let us make this press conference to vindicate ourselves from here. So it was about it was a do or die press conference. What we are going to say in this press conference is what will vindicate us. He has lost on this other side of the ODM brigades because they are no longer going to trust him again. On this other side, he has also lost to the Western multinational entities because they are not going to trust him. The press conference was unconstitutional. So for these press conferences today, Ruto has really lost it big time. Though I don't know about the money that Adani gave him, because if the money was given to him illegally, of course he's going to get away with it. They didn't sign anything that binds the money together with the law, that if they cancel the deal, he's going to get his percentage of the share back. But to meet his end of the bargain, I think the deal was shady. So he has managed to scam. Still yet enough, we are going to do some further research on the same, and we'll be sharing on a timely basis about the same. Thank you very much.
Hey, Kale Simba, since I came to know you, and personally, I really love the way you present your ideas. And here you have given us more than 20 facts. 20 facts that personally I didn't even know. And in the comment section there, someone is saying, what? Ruto owns Main's plantation. And also in the comment section there, Adani is cozy up to his fellow producers. All those who bought Lorex watches, crocodile beds, and pair of shoes will have to go to auction for us to get the money Kale Simba has talked a lot of things here, and I just need to address them one by one because he has really given us a lot of information. But one, I saw the press really delayed for some time, and now if we saw Raila Amolo Odinga sanitizing the Adani deal, Opiyo and I sanitizing the Adani deal, but all of a sudden William Ruto just comes into addressing the nation and he says, I have dropped the Adani deal in this country. From what I have listened to the Kenyans, that Kenyans are saying we should stop this Adani from taking over our JKIA. So if Raila Amolo Odinga was involved in this case, then it shows that Ruto dropped him immediately. Because if Raila sanitized this Adani deal and then Ruto comes in and says, we have dropped this deal. So it shows that